Hello, now it's turn to focus on vowels. During this presentation, you will be able to develop basic metalanguage to describe with precision and insight oral articulatory characteristics of English vowels. You will also continue to recognize the potential that developing accurate metalanguage has for helping English language learners improve their oral intelligibility. You will now use the International Phonetic Alphabet to represent consonant and vocalic sounds in English. And finally, you will recognize the process of vowel reduction as one of the most prominent and difficult characteristics of English pronunciation for non-native speakers to master. Let's take a look at these animals. Can you transcribe phonetically the name of these animals? I want you to try. Stop the video, go to the resources that were provided in the previous lecture and try to transcribe at least some of these animals. Let's remember that consonants had specific characteristics. When talking about vowels, we don't talk about those characteristics. We actually talk about height, backness, rounding, and tenseness. So, in terms of height, vowels can be high, mid, or low. Backness, in terms of backness, they could be front, central, or back. Rounded or unrounded in terms of rounding. And they can be tense or lax. Here, there's a sagittal diagram. These kind of diagrams are called sagittal diagrams. And you could see the lips, you could see the teeth, and all the parts of the vocal tract. And as you could see, the quadrant of the vowels there. This is helpful because, for example, we could see how E, the sound E, is front and high. Conversely, the sound A, so you could see there, we could represent it as front but low. Then we could also add the two characteristics in terms of rounding and tenseness. Let's take a look. Here, the characteristics of the sound E can be described as high, front, tense, and rounded. Try to pronounce a E sound. E. You should be able to feel the tongue close to the alveolar ridge and in the front of your mouth. That is opposite to U, where the tongue retracts and touches the velum, forming a back vowel. U, if you take a look at the diagram, would be back, high, and if we do an U, your lips are rounded and your lips are also tense. So U would be back, high, tense, rounded. You can take a look at the handout in this unit to look at the characteristics of other vowels. And here there's a diagram with the 5 vowels that are most common in all languages. As you could see, it goes from spread, E, E, A, O, U. It's like a triangle. So this is a lip diagram for spread versus rounded vowels. Clearly you could see that U is a rounded vowel and O is a rounded vowel as well. The rest are unrounded. This is the chart for vowels. The shaded area are the vowels that are present in English. Clearly, if you contrast with this, a lot of languages have only 5 vowels. However, English has many more, as you can see there. Yet, there are some of these sounds that are written with these letters. Let's talk a little bit about these central vowels. These central vowels are reduced vowels. In the center, right there, you could see the schwa vowel. The schwa is the vowel sound in many lightly pronounced and accented syllables in words of more than one syllable. It is sometimes signified by the pronunciation or symbolized, but as you can see there, as an upside down rotated E. A schwa sound can be represented by any vowel. And in fact, the schwa sound is the vowel that is most common in North American English. Let's take a look at this. So you have the schwa vowel right there in the middle. Remember that this schwa vowel is lightly pronounced in unaccented syllables in words of more than one syllable. In other words, E becomes A becomes E becomes U becomes and O becomes You might be thinking, where does this happen? Well, it happens in all words in English that have more than one syllable. We are going to talk a little bit more about this in the next lecture when we talk about suprasegmental features. For now, let's continue with looking at transcription of vowels. At the very beginning, I asked you to try to transcribe the sounds of these animals. Perhaps if I give you or this diagram, this will be easier. So the E high front vowel is like the E in B. We don't spell B with E sound. We spell it with double E in English. Then we have the I sound. This is the sound for fish. We don't say fish, we say fish. It is a little lower than the E. Then we have the E as in snail. We continue lowering down. Now we are mid and we say elephant. And finally, in the low part of your mouth, opening your mouth, we pronounce this sound eh. In other words, if you begin with your tongue high up as to pronounce E, and then you progressively and slowly go down, opening your mouth and lowering your tongue, you will be pronouncing all the stream of vowels from high to low, and these are the front vowels. So it would be something like E. Once again, E. So now you have the vowels to transcribe each of these animals. Please do so now in your notebook or in a piece of paper. Let's move to the middle. And these are the sounds that are central, the vocalic sounds that are central. Here, the diagram shows us how these will be pronounced. Remember that I told you that any vowel in an unstressed position will be central. Well, in this case, the word panda. The first vowel in panda is the A vowel, as you can see. But the second vowel is not strong. It is actually reduced. So the A becomes A. Try to transcribe the word panda. Use all your resources. Stop the video. Next, let's continue with the word bird. This one is a little tricky, but you can figure out by looking at the sheet and the handout that was provided. Then we continue with duck. Duck. As you can see, it's not dock or duck. It is very reduced. Duck. We have I, lion, a, iron, and also we have the word cow, ow. Finally, dog. Now is the turn for the back vowels. As you could see here, we have the word woodpecker, then kangaroo, goat. This is a diphthong, so it has two sounds, two vocalic sounds. Oh, it goes from O to U, toward it goes upwards. Then we have hawk, and finally we have rabbit. Some people might say bunny. It's probably the same. So now that you know the location of these animals in the vowel chart, it should be a bit easier to transcribe phonetically the name of these animals. Please use this chart to figure out. And also, you could use this vowel diagram by making your own in your notebook and writing the transcription of all the animals where appropriate. This is the same website I showed you for consonants, but this time I want to call your attention to vowels. So you can always go there and try to play with it and use it to solidify your knowledge of consonants but also vowels. So here we have vowels and we have monodiphthongs. That means that it's only one sound. As you can see, there's the front vowels and we have the E, okay? And the foreign vowel, as it says here, is produced with a forward shift of the tongue from its neutral rest position. As you can see here, as you can see, the E sound puts the tongue really high up as opposed to this one, which is really low. So high, low. and even also low at the same more or less the same distance. Now take a look at this difference here. E and okay, so by slightly moving the tongue a little lower, you get a different sound. The central sounds, this is the one that I was telling you about that is a little tricky, and this is the sound of bird. That's the vowel you should have used for bird. Er, bird. So it would be b, and then this sound and then the d as in bird. Okay? The schwa, very central, and this one doesn't really have much difference, as you can see. So you're okay using this when you want to show schwa. Okay, this concludes the lecture on vowels. Please practice as much as you can.